Welcome to the Green Screen Magic Studio. I'm the great Blair Deeney, the wizard behind the curtain, but you are welcome just to call me Blair through this course if you prefer. In these tutorials, I'll be showing you how to actually pull the kinds of e-learning illusions off that we do in the Great E-Course Adventure, as well as this course. To make sure we're all speaking the same language and understanding the same concepts, I'm going to take a few minutes to bring us all up to speed on some of the main basics, like what is a green screen? How does it work? What does the studio we shot this course in actually look like? And how do we do some proper lighting and camera techniques? And so much more. So without wasting any time, let's get to it.
So green screens, they've been around for a long time. Here's a picture of me in front of one. This is our studio that we've been working in. As you can see, it's nothing special. Green piece of fabric. There's some lights, there's our mic stand with the microphone just above my head. And this is actually for Act 1. This was the intro piece. So green screen, also known as Chroma Key, which is the more technical term, is a technique for replacing a color in your scene with another image. And so if you have a big, bright piece of green fabric around you, all evenly colored, which you can see mine isn't all that even, but luckily enough, the software can actually do some pretty amazing things. It's quite magical. And can remove that and replace it with something behind. So I've got that set up already where I take that out, poof, gone. But you can see anything that was not green is left, which is a good thing for me because I'm still in the scene. So green seems to be the more industry standard, unless you're doing a Green Goblin film, and then you would have to use the blue screen. So now we have some artifacts that we want to clear up. So a basic crop and mask feature, and done. There we are. Just need to scale it up, work some color. We'll get into that all down the road. But first, we're just kind of getting the basics. So we're all speaking the same language moving through. So here we are, we're looking at a green screen setup with some lights. Here's our subject. And basic green screen, the way it works is essentially just having a green fabric nice and taut behind your subject that's well lit and evenly lit is also important. Now, some of the things to look at is making sure that your shadows from your lights aren't affecting your green screen. If you're standing too close, as you see here, you're going to get shadowing, which creates a different shade of green. So when your Chroma Key or your green screen plugin in your program, you will either get one or the other, and this can often cause problems. So you don't want to be standing too close. So you need a little bit of room and bringing it back. And as you can see, here is some video of me actually setting up for Act 2. So I'm just moving the lights around, and this is what you'll do in your studio too, just finding the best balance of light, how it is thrown across the green screen to create a nice even spread. You can see we're using some other lights. I've picked up these lights here from a thrift store. You can also find those at a used recycling depot places or whatever. Different types of lights. Also another one here from a hardware store. You can see there actually on one on the stand and down here just to help throw the light a little bit more evenly. And then we've got our table here and a big soft light at the top as well. So that's us getting set up. Great. So the reason lighting is so important with green screens is because it's really going to help put you into the scene that you're creating. And not only do we need to properly light up the Chroma Key, the green screen behind you, so therefore the program, the software can do its work effectively, but we also have to start thinking about lighting ourselves as well. And so the lights that we have in our studio, the reason they are portable and we can move them around easily is because each scene that we will be working with will require a little bit of different lighting, especially when you get into doing your own stuff. And what you do need to be looking at mainly is where is the light source in your scene. So here's a nice shot that we have here of a cityscape, park bench. You could be standing here teaching a lesson, and you have to ask yourself, well, where is the light? Because if you're standing in front of the green screen, you want to fit yourself in. And so that's really important. We'll get more into that down the road, but these are just seeds that I'm planting further down the road. Same here. There's a light source behind you, so therefore your shadow will look natural. Even on the inside of a building, you're still going to have light sources. You can see here the windows bringing in nice light. Looks like there's some light here because there's some shadow on this side. So light coming in from this side. And then here's just some setups that we have of other people's green screens using different lighting techniques. Here's one in someone's office. Probably going to look similar to many of yours. Here's a nice technique. They actually painted their wall green. So instead of using fabric, they just used some paint. And you can actually buy specific paint for that too. A little more matte finish so it's not shiny, reflecting the light. Looks like a little podcast. And here's a really nice studio setup. Lots of lights to work with. Even though not evenly lit, still looks pretty cool. And then this one's actually one of my favorites. You can see the green screen, nice and taut, using a good frame. Some nice lights, creating a little bit of a backlighting too. And one of the features that I want to point out here is this tape on the ground. So we actually used something similar to this while we shot the Great E-Course Adventure, because we had Brad and Andy in front of the green screen together. They had to stay in the shot without falling outside of the green screen if you're moving. And because they were, we had to somehow represent that on the floor. So we just took some masking tape, placed a few markers so they know where they were. And then the camera, where it would be set up, would have a couple pieces of tape where the tripod would be, so I know where to put it each time. And that's a good way to help you keep the focus, especially if you're working alone, and just know where you are, where to keep your arms in before they fall out of the scene. Perfect. So there we go. That's pretty much the basics to understanding the green screen and setting that up. Have fun getting it organized, getting your lights together, having lots of extension cords so that you can move your lights where you need them, and just start playing with it. Start dreaming into your green screen. And then we'll come back and get into the next lesson.